Scene script. Have you ever wondered what items you should stock up on for an emergency? One of the top recommendations is an alternative power source. But why is power so crucial? Well, imagine a day without electricity. No lights, no heating, no refrigeration, and no way to charge your devices. It's not a pretty picture, is it? Now let's dive into the various options available. The first one that comes to mind is solar power. It's clean, renewable, and best of all, free once you've set it up. Solar panels can be expensive initially, but they pay for themselves in the long run. They're also quite popular among homeowners, especially those living in sunny regions. Next up, we have gas generators. They're a reliable source of power and they can generate a lot of it. However, they do have their drawbacks. They're noisy, emit fumes, and require a steady supply of fuel, which may not always be available in an emergency. Then we have battery power banks. These handy devices store power for when you need it. They're portable, silent, and perfect for charging your devices. Some even come with solar panels for charging, making them a two-in-one solution. Lastly, let's talk about portable power banks. These are similar to battery power banks, but they're designed to be carried around. They're perfect for emergencies where you might need to leave your home, like natural disasters. They can power a few essential devices and are a lifesaver when you're on the go. The choice of power source will depend on your specific needs and circumstances. If you live in a sunny area, solar power might be the best option. If you need a lot of power and have access to fuel, a gas generator could work for you. For those who need something portable, a power bank is the way to go. In the end, the choice of power source will depend on your specific needs and circumstances. Next up, let's talk about your personal medication and over-the-counter antibiotics. It's essential to keep a supply of these, especially in times of uncertainty. You never know when you might need them, and it's better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them. So, what types of personal medication should you have on hand? Well, that's going to depend on your individual health needs. If you have a chronic condition that requires daily medication, it's a good idea to have at least a 6-month supply on hand. This includes medications for conditions like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and asthma. It's also a good idea to have a supply of any medications you take regularly for pain relief or other symptoms. Over-the-counter antibiotics are also important to have in your supply. These can be used to treat minor infections and illnesses and can be a real lifesaver if you can't get to a doctor or pharmacy. Some examples of over-the-counter antibiotics include creams and ointments for skin infections, eye drops for eye infections, and oral antibiotics for more systemic infections. It's also a good idea to have a supply of over-the-counter medications for common ailments. These might include pain relievers, cold and flu medications, antacids, and allergy medications. Don't forget about children's versions if you have little ones in your household. And let's not forget about first aid supplies. Bandages, gauze, antiseptic wipes, and tweezers can all come in handy for treating minor injuries. But remember, while it's important to be prepared, it's equally important to use these medications correctly. Always follow the instructions on the label and never take more than the recommended dose. And finally, always remember to check the expiration dates on your medications. Expired medications can lose their effectiveness, and in some cases, they can even be harmful. So, make it a habit to check your stockpile regularly and replace any expired items. Remember, it's always important to consult with a healthcare professional before making any changes to your medication regimen. Now, let's move on to communication devices. In an age where our phones are practically attached to our hands, it's easy to forget that there are other ways to communicate. But in times of crisis, these other methods may become essential. Let's start with walkie-talkies. These handheld devices allow for short-range communication, typically within a few miles. They're durable, easy to use, and don't rely on cell towers or internet connections. This makes them perfect for staying in touch with family or neighbors during a power outage or if the cell network goes down. Next, we have CB radios. CB stands for Citizens Band, and these radios allow for longer-range communication than walkie-talkies. They're commonly used by truckers and hobbyists, but can also be a lifeline in emergency situations. They operate on a specific set of 40 channels that are available for public use, which means you can reach out to a broader network of people. Lastly, let's talk about general radios. Now you might be thinking, but radios are for listening, not talking, and you'd be right. But in a crisis, information is just as crucial as communication. Radios can pick up local AM/FM stations, weather broadcasts, and even emergency alert systems. Some models are also equipped with hand cranks or solar panels so they can work even if the power's out. Each of these devices has its own strengths and weaknesses, and the best one for you depends on your specific circumstances. But remember, communication isn't just about talking, it's also about listening and staying informed. So whether you're coordinating with a neighbor, reaching out for help, or just trying to stay up to date on the situation, having a reliable communication device can make all the difference. Communication is key in any emergency situation, so make sure you're prepared. Let's turn our attention to disinfectants. In the vast world of cleanliness and hygiene, disinfectants hold a special place. These unsung heroes of our daily lives come in various forms, each with their own unique uses and advantages. Let's delve into this topic and understand why they're an essential part of our preparedness plan. First up, we have the most common and widely used disinfectant, bleach. A staple in many households, bleach is a powerful and inexpensive disinfectant that can kill a multitude of germs and bacteria. Mix it with water, and you've got a solution that can disinfect surfaces, sanitize water, and even treat wounds in a pinch. Next, we have alcohol-based disinfectants. These include products like hand sanitizers and wipes, which are handy for quick disinfection on the go. You can use them to sanitize your hands, wipe down surfaces, or clean small objects. They're a must-have in any bug-out bag or survival kit. Then there's hydrogen peroxide. This versatile substance can be used as a disinfectant, antiseptic, and even an oxygen source for wound cleaning. Be sure to store it in a dark, cool place to maintain its effectiveness. Let's not forget about natural disinfectants. These include vinegar, baking soda, and essential oils like tea tree and eucalyptus. While they may not be as potent as their chemical counterparts, they can still effectively clean and disinfect when used properly. Lastly, we have specialized disinfectants. These are products designed for specific uses, such as disinfecting water, treating wounds, or killing specific types of germs or viruses. They may not be as versatile, but they're invaluable in certain situations. Regardless of the type of disinfectant, remember that proper usage is crucial. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions for the best results and to ensure your safety. As you can see, having a variety of disinfectants at your disposal can be a game changer in a survival situation. They not only keep your living area clean and germ-free, but can also be used for personal hygiene, wound care, water treatment, and more. Remember, cleanliness is not just about comfort, it's also about preventing the spread of diseases. Water is a life staple, so it's no surprise it's on our list. Without water, our survival is at stake. It's not just about quenching our thirst, but also for sanitation, cooking, and perhaps even medical needs. Threats to our water supply can range from power outages disabling your well to city water contamination, even pollution of natural lakes and rivers. So, how do we prepare? Storing water is an obvious first step. But remember, space can become a constraint, and stored water does have a shelf life. That's where water purification comes into play. From boiling and distillation to using purification tablets or a high-quality water filter, there are several ways to ensure you have safe drinking water. Rainwater collection systems can also be a lifesaver, providing a renewable source of water that, with proper treatment, can be made safe to drink. Water is essential for life, so it's crucial to have a reliable source in any emergency. Let's talk about non-perishable food reserves. Now, when we say non-perishable, we mean food that doesn't spoil or decay easily, making it an ideal choice for long-term storage. And there are quite a few options to choose from. First off, we have store-bought canned food. This is a mainstream choice, and for good reason. Canned food is widely available, inexpensive, and comes in a staggering variety. Everything from soups to fruits, vegetables, and even meats can be found in canned form. The best part? These can last for years on the shelf. Next, let's consider home canning. This method allows you to preserve your own produce, which can be a cost-effective and satisfying process. Imagine having jars of your homegrown tomatoes or homemade jams ready for consumption whenever you want. However, it does require some knowledge and equipment, so be sure to do your research before diving in. Now, on to dry goods. These include items like rice, beans, pasta, oats, and lentils. They're lightweight, compact, and have a long shelf life, making them great for storage. Plus, they're versatile. You can use them in a wide range of dishes. Just remember, you'll need a reliable water source to cook these. Lastly, we have powdered goods. This category includes powdered milk, eggs, and even vegetables. While they may not be everyone's first choice for a meal, they're lightweight, easy to store, and can provide essential nutrients. And let's not forget, in a pinch, having something is always better than nothing. In sum, when building up your non-perishable food reserves, consider a mix of these options. Having a variety of food types not only ensures nutritional balance, but also keeps mealtime from becoming monotonous. And trust me, in a long-term survival situation, a little variety can be a big morale booster. Remember, having a diverse food supply can make a huge difference in an emergency situation. Personal hygiene is another important aspect of prepping. It's not just about feeling clean and refreshed, it's also about preventing infections and diseases that can compromise your health in a survival situation. Let's start with dental items. Toothpaste, toothbrushes, and dental floss are essentials. They not only keep your teeth and gums healthy, but they also help to ward off infections that can start in the mouth. A good tip here is to opt for toothpaste brands that contain high amounts of fluoride, as it can help to prevent tooth decay. Moving on to soaps, it is advisable to have a good supply of both bar soap and liquid soap. Bar soaps are great because they last for a long time and are easy to store. Liquid soaps, on the other hand, are more versatile and can be used for hand washing, bathing, and even cleaning wounds. Don't forget to include hand sanitizers in your stockpile, especially those with a high alcohol content, as they can kill bacteria and viruses effectively. Now let's talk about female hygiene products. These are essential items that can't be overlooked. Store a good supply of menstrual pads, tampons, and panty liners. If possible, consider investing in reusable options like menstrual cups or cloth pads, as they can last for years with proper care. Also, consider stocking up on disposable razors or shaving cream, as these can make you feel more comfortable and clean. Baby wipes are another versatile item that can be used for quick cleanups when water is scarce. It's also worth considering a supply of deodorant, as it can help to boost morale and maintain a sense of normalcy in tough situations. And let's not forget about toilet paper. It's a basic necessity that you certainly don't want to run out of. Lastly, you might want to include a couple of bottles of multivitamins in your personal hygiene stockpile. These can help to supplement your diet and boost your immune system, particularly in situations where your food intake might not be as balanced as it should be. Maintaining personal hygiene can greatly improve your comfort and health during an emergency. Finally, let's discuss heating and cooking sources. In a situation where the power grid is down or fuel becomes scarce, having alternative sources for heat and cooking becomes critical. So, let's explore some options that can help you stay warm and also cook your food. One of the most basic and readily available sources of heat is firewood. It's a tried and true method that has been used for thousands of years. Firewood can be used for both heating your home and cooking your food. However, it requires a safe area for burning and a good supply of wood, which may not be easily accessible in urban areas. Space heaters are another option, especially the ones that run on propane or kerosene. They're portable, easy to use, and can heat up a room quickly. But remember, they should be used with proper ventilation to avoid carbon monoxide poisoning. Next up is the barbecue. We usually associate it with summer cookouts, but barbecues, particularly gas or charcoal ones, can also be used as a cooking source in an emergency situation. They're easy to use and can cook a variety of foods. Rocket stoves are another great alternative. They're efficient, using less fuel than a traditional open fire, and they produce less smoke, making them safer for indoor use. You can use a variety of materials as fuel, including small branches, twigs, or even biomass briquettes. Finally, a simple metal rack can be a lifesaver in an emergency. It can be placed over an open fire, allowing you to cook food or boil water. It's lightweight, portable, and doesn't require any fuel source of its own. Remember, whichever option you choose, safety should always be your first priority. Make sure to have proper ventilation and never leave a heat source unattended. The last thing you want in an emergency situation is to add a fire hazard to your list of concerns. Being able to cook and stay warm can greatly increase your chances of survival during an emergency.